Christian Raymond. Welcome to it, sir. I'm the host for this fucking segment here, and this is where we rate it. Why am I the host? Because it ain't my rating. It's the Sloppy Horror rating, and it's Christian Ramey's rating. And if you don't know if this is your first time here, I'll explain it to you real quick. We got 4 categories. 3 of those categories are 3 points. The last category is 1 point. So you got 10 points here. 10 points. So,
10 pumpkins.
Yeah, 10 pumpkins. So we're going to go on to the first category of the Sloppy Horror rating, and that is casting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, if you've been listening to the episode, you can kind of see. Nobody's bad in this movie, but they're not high dollar actors. I really think the person who shined the brightest was David Howard Thornton, just because he made a character. I don't even think the main girls were bad. The characters weren't, it was not good writing for them because it is a slasher movie. Not that it was bad writing, but you can just understand what it is. They're just like, I'm drunk and hungry.
Yeah.
Where's the boys at? Like one of those kind of characters. And you're like, oh yeah, you're going to end up naked and dying. Mm-hmm. And guess what? She ends up naked and dies. You just know the formula to some degree.
Yeah.
So they worked for what they were. And with David Howard Thornton, so I would give this a 1 on casting, but with David Howard Thornton, I'm going to give it a 1.5. I think he puts him right there at the halfway point.
I that's what I was going to say, honestly, because really, I mean, you have David as the only good actor in it, and he's half the movie just himself. Mm-hmm. Everybody else they're like expendable. No offense to him.
I would say he's great and they're good.
Yeah, but he's really the only one that really stood out and did what he was supposed to, because he's Art the Clown. Did a fantastic job.
Everyone gelled together, and that's that they worked well together. So
and everybody else in the movie does work. I mean, but there's some points where you're not a actor. You're just there.
You're just there.
So that's cool. So 1.5 for casting. Not too bad. We definitely have an MVP there. But going on to category number 2, that is fear. Okay,
so let's talk about fear here. We've already simply discussed if you're a fan of slashers and clowns, you're not going to be afraid of this movie at all. You're going to love it. It's going to be something that's going to be a fun time. But clowns are a weird one, brother. The people that are afraid of clowns are really afraid of clowns. It's not like you don't meet people that are like, yeah, I don't like clowns a little bit. People are like, I hate clowns. Those people.
It's always either way left or way right, I guess you could say, with clowns. Either you love clowns or you really fucking hate clowns. I can't even look at a clown.
So, as interesting as it may be, I think that makes this a 1.5 as well. Because half of the audience, it's scary as shit, and then half the audience, it's a enjoyable it's a movie for you.
Yeah,
that's crafted for you.
That's what it is. It's made to either scare the people who hate clowns, or are afraid of clowns, or it's just a fun movie for the fans who love clowns and love slashers. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So I think that's another 1.5 for that.
That's a very fair score. Very, very fair score, sir. Very fair score. So we got 3 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror rating. Let's go to the next category, and that is kills. Kills.
Now we're cooking with some grease here.
Now we're cooking with gas here.
You don't ever do that when you're cooking?
No.
All right.
You ever cook bacon with your shirt off?
Dude, I don't wear any clothes when I cook bacon.
Dude, you're a fucking soldier then.
Yeah, man.
I do it with shirt off before. I always get the nip burnt. Mm-hmm. But anyways.
You got to be careful. Just do real low heat.
Well, look, stop getting sidetracked here. We're trying to rate this thing.
All right. So we're talking about kills.
Yes.
And that's when we're really cooking the bacon. This movie is hands down a 3 out of 3 for kills. There's all kinds of kills. There's lots of blood. There's some head stomping in. There's some eyeball gouging. There's some stabbing. There's just so much that was put into this. The kills were heavily thought out in this movie. Mm-hmm. And just a lot of detail in them, and they looked great. It kind of crosses that line a little bit. Like I said, it's definitely some of them are over the top and they're meant to be that way, but there is kind of that moment where you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck. Like, it does kind of get you on the edge of your seat. So I thought it was done beautifully. 3 out of 3 is what I would give this on kills.
I would agree with that. You got all kinds of various kills. Some are brutal, some are not brutal. He even eats a person's face. So that
He does.
You know, which we'll get into that later. But good. All right, very good. So that's a 3 out of 3 for kills. So that brings us up to 6 out of 10 with one category left. This is our one category point, and that is if Christian Ramey fucks with it. So obviously I know the answer, but we're going to fucking ask you anyway for legal purposes. Christian Ramey, do you fucks with this movie?
I hate it. No, actually, you know the answer. That's definitely love it. Love it, love it, love it. I fucks with it to the full degree, to the maximum. Yeah. And even more so of the release year. If this movie was like dated and came back out, you know, I would still enjoy it. I like clowns, but that was the norm to have some slashers 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Even as much as 20 years ago. You're telling me 2016 you're making a slasher with clowns in it? Okay, buddy. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be there to see your sequel. Oh, absolutely. So, I'm a big fan. So I get what's that put us at? 7 out of 10?
7 out of 10 for the Terrifier. Very solid score for what it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
and
man.
Just because something is 10 out of 10, like you explained before, doesn't mean it might still not be a good movie. I mean, 10 out of 10 would probably be a good movie because it hit all 3 categories, but, you know. Not necessarily, because some of the categories you could take them and leave them, depending on what kind of movie it is. So, now,